I'm here with Jenny Barnett-Rohrs from Craft Test Dummies, and she's got a great idea for a stencil resist technique. So Jenny, take us away.
Excellent. Julie, I'm so excited to share this with you. We're going to embrace our inner child and use crayons, watercolors, and our stencils to create this scrapbook page. We're also going to do some die cutting, and we're going to use the negative space and the positive space to create our mat in title, kind of all in one. And you are the magician with the die cut machine, so will you help me out with that?
So I'm going to head over to the machine, and I think you brought the designs, right?
Do-do-do.
So I'm just going to take this USB, and you've already uploaded the design, so I'm going to put it right into the machine if I can put it in the right way. There you go. And then I'm simply going to choose the pattern option, and I'm going to choose from Save Data, and then I can either choose from in the machine or from the USB. So I'm going to go ahead and pick from the USB. And then once I scroll through the designs in the USB, I can see the one that you have there just for me. And I'm going to go ahead and choose it. And then all that's left is to put my paper in. And I'm going to use this double-sided cardstock. And I think, which side? You want the light color.
Yeah, the light one is pretty.
So I'm going to remove the protective covering that protects this sticky mat from collecting, you know, all the lint and dust and everything else that's in my house. I probably shouldn't brag about my terrible housekeeping
cat
skills.
Hair. It's we all have it. It's okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and open the dust cover, and I'm going to feed the mat right into the machine. Then I've dropped my stylus back here. Here you go. So I'm just going to say, okay, let it cut out like this. I know that my blade is set at a 4, which is perfect for cardstock.
Great.
And I'm going to hit cut. And we should be off into the races, Jenny.
Excellent. So while that's cutting, I'm going to show you how to do this rubbing technique.
Great.
And what we're going to do is do something we don't normally do, which is put our stencils underneath our paper. You're just going to lay this on top. By the way, this is cardstock weight, and I think it's like 110. Now we're going to take some wax crayons. And these ones I like because they are like little pebbles. But
I was about to say, I thought it was candy.
No, don't eat it.
Crayon.
It wouldn't be tasty, trust me. But what you're going to want to do is if you have just like your broken crayons around your house, just remove the wax and then use a flat side to create this rubbing. And you see how quickly and fun it is.
I can't believe that the stencil comes right up through that paper.
Right
I would never thought that cardstock would be thin enough
to
let that happen.
Yeah, you would think, oh my gosh, the cardstock is so thick. So you can also use white, but I've used these colors. Now what we're going to do is get out our watercolors. Again, embracing the inner child, and we're going to add some color on top.
And I can see, by the way, that you've pre-wet those watercolors.
Yes, and I do like grown-up watercolors in that these have a little bit of sparkle and shimmer to them too. Now, if you've got plain old watercolors, that's great. If you also have, you know, some spray inks, feel free to use your spray inks. Anything that's water-based will work. I can even use a little bit of water to help move things around. Then what we're going to do is take a little wet paper towel or a baby wipe, and we're just going to move that around. And you can pounce it, you can buff it a little bit, but you see that
the crayon's coming right up through. Now, does it have to be damp or soaking, or how wet does it have to be?
I have a tendency to work kind of wet because that's me, but you're going to set this aside and let it dry anyway, and it'll flatten right back out. So you just want enough color so that those wax rubbings will resist. And when it's done, it's going to look like this.
That's great, although it doesn't look exactly like that because I noticed you did something fancy.
I did. You can, again, use your inner child and get those pretty fun decorative edge scissors, or you can use your regular scissors to just trim it out.
Or you could cut it in the die cutting machine too for something fancy.
Oh, thatuld be fun. Yeah. So speaking of die cutting, why don't we grab that?
I think it's done, exactly. So let's just let the machine release the mat. I'm going to pull it out. Ooh. And I know this is always the most exciting part, isn't it? So there you go. And I know that this is what you need for the title, I believe.
Right. So here, this one's kind of almost done.
You already have one that's done.
Right. And what I've done is I've adhered my background paper. I've used the positive, or the letters, to actually create the ginger along the bottom. But then what we're going to do is cut this down. You can use scissors or a trimmer to make the photo mat. Oh, not this one. This one.
There you go.
And what we're going to do is just position it.
So all that you did was simply trim off the word ginger and cut it down.
Right. And what you're going to do is position this so that where the text is, and that looks about right. Does that look about right to you?
Hey, you know what? I just think it looks good enough. There you go.
So now you can see the yellow is going to come through here, but then you've got those pretty designs here.
That's a great idea, and it just takes advantage of your layout.
Positive and negative spaces. And then I'm going to add my little photo of my wee dog Ginger because she is my best pal. She's like my studio assistant.
Is she a tiny dog?
She's about 17 pounds, a cockapoo.
wow.
So she's with me all the time. So when I'm crafting, she's there. And now I'm just gonna add some little flat back pearls for bullet points. And you can see here at the bottom, I use some different sizes to create the paw print. You can also take the leftover arrows and put them here, or you can create another focal with them. I just think it's fun to use both the negative and the positive spaces on the same layout.
I agree. And then, you have all these great little scraps left over too for all sorts of other cutting, painting, decorating.
Cards, tags, mixed media.
Yes.
Can we play some more?
Yeah, I know. The thing that I always think is like, once you have your stuff out, I can totally see taking the leftovers and making it into a card right then and there because you already know it's coordinated and it's ready to go.
Absolutely.
Jenny, this was so fantastic. Thank you so much.